Hi, I'm Greg Howlett, and I want to talk today about network marketing slash MLM slash pyramid scheme. Why am I talking about this? Well, even though I usually talk about supplements, there's a big overlap between supplements and network marketing, as we all know. The truth of the matter is, in the early days of the supplement industry, network marketing was a powerful force, probably the most powerful force in building it. Now, network marketing has only been around 70 years or so, but the reality is, so is the supplement industry. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but really what launched the supplement industry was some powerful network marketing companies that came along starting in the middle of the 20th century. Now, the supplement industry had grown to about $8 or $9 billion by the late part of the century, 1998, 1999, when I got involved in the industry, the supplement industry. It had grown to that point really because of a couple ways. First of all, catalog sales, Puritan's Pride, Swanson's, you guys remember those probably. Some of you do. You had the health stores, which were around, not like they are today, but there were health stores. And then, though, the big elephant in the room was the network marketing companies. There were big ones out there that were evangelizing Herbalife and Melaleuca, and these companies really did it the old-fashioned way. You had all these distributors that one by one went out to one by one, each one reach one, and they would get people involved in using products and then eventually becoming distributors, and it sort of grew organically for a long time. Really sort of built the industry. It was a big deal. It's not easy to discount the influence that the network marketing industry had overall up till the late 1990s. Now, in the late 1990s, all of a sudden things changed. Number one, the supplement industry went from $8 or $9 billion to around $50 billion, which is where it sits today. So it grew about 6 times over the past 23, 24 years. And that is huge growth. It's exploded. On the flip side, if you look at network marketing, what you see is the big companies in network marketing have been flat. Now, companies come and go, and it's sort of hard to get a good handle on all this because most of these companies are privately owned. They don't share revenue. But there's one place that you can go to for revenue. It's the DSA, Direct Sellers Association. They report revenue for companies, and I actually went through and looked at their data. I looked at the last 10 years. And over the last 10 years, if you look at the top sellers of supplements, the top supplement companies on their list, what you see is very flat growth. So starting again at the end of the 20th century, you started to see the supplement industry shoot up while network marketing companies have just sort of lost their way. They're meandering, they're flat. In some cases, they're losing ground. There's a few winners. Herbalife has grown, for example, about 25% over the past 10 years, from $4 billion to $5 billion. However, they're sort of an anomaly, and their growth is not really that great when you consider, again, the industry is going up 600%. They're going up 25%. Not really a huge win there, and they're an anomaly. So overall, the industry has been really struggling for the past 20 years. You may be in a company that's different, but again, I was looking at big companies, the biggest companies, and that is just the reality of where we are. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, what happened in network marketing that in about 25 years ago that created this problem? Well, first of all, the internet. Right? The internet's the big thing. The internet came along, it flattened everything out, and all of a sudden there's other distribution models in play. For example, Amazon. Amazon is now the biggest seller of supplements in the world. So, or at least in the US. The market's $50 billion, a big chunk of that is going to Amazon. There's also a much bigger focus on these kind of products in mass market and the big box retail. You have more health stores. And then, especially over the past 10 years, you're starting to see a lot more D2C, where companies are actually saying, we don't need distributors anymore. We don't need big box retail. We're going to go directly to the customer and sell. So you've seen huge growth in all of these areas, but MLM companies have been largely flat. And the reason they've been flat is because some underlying conditions that sort of create that come from having the internet. Let's look at it this way. Before 1998 or 1999, if a distributor wanted to build a business, the way they did it was they sort of worked local. It was a local operation. They might be the only distributor in a town of 10 or 20,000 people. So they have a limited customer base. But here's the thing about that customer base. They had a relationship with them. And they were sort of a captive audience because these distributors or these customers couldn't go buy from other places. They only had one place to go buy. There was no way to go buy online or from a distributor in another state or anything like that. It was a localized situation, again, where the distributor had a lot of control over it. Now, when the internet came along, it sort of blew up the model because now that same distributor is no longer limited to his town. He doesn't have 20,000 potential customers. He has 200 million potential customers. He can sell to the whole country. And that sounds great except for one problem. All the other distributors in the company and every other company can now sell to his 20,000 people as well. So the model has changed. It sounds good on one side, more customer potential, but it sounds really bad on the other side, which is an immense amount of competition. Overall, it's not been good. The network marketing industry has not adjusted. They have not found a way to navigate this. Are they going to admit that to you? No, they probably won't. If you get them off to the side somewhere at an event and late at night, they may tell you that. But it's sort of hard to get them to admit it. The reality is they're floundering. They're struggling with it. Now, what are they doing? There's a couple of different approaches. First of all, some of them are saying, let's just ignore the internet. Let's pretend like it's not there and keep things the old way. Well, we all know that that doesn't work long term. You can't hide your head in the sand. The internet is here. You got to deal with it. The new economy is here. You have to deal with it. Other companies are saying, okay, well, let's embrace this technology and we'll turn our distributors loose. We'll give them a lot of tools. They can do Facebook advertising, Facebook Lives. They can try to sell to all their friends. It sounds good, but the reality is we all know how that's sort of working. Go to Facebook. Now, it's quieted down in recent years, but it used to be if you go to Facebook, you were just sort of assaulted with distributors of different companies trying to sell you stuff. Yes, those people can get to you, but the problem is all their friends' competitors can get to you as well. It's just not really, really pretty. Not working. So what are companies doing? There's a couple of things. Those two things aren't working. In a lot of cases, what they're saying is, okay, if network marketing isn't working, let's go to omni-channel, what we call omni-channel, which essentially means they're going to market outside the network model. You see a lot of companies, for example, selling on Amazon. They used to be MLM plays. Now they're on Amazon. In some cases, they're doing D2C. They're going direct to the consumer themselves. Some of them may be trying to get into big box retail. So they're expanding away from network marketing, which, by the way, creates a vicious cycle because doing that competes with their distributors, which makes them disgruntled and less likely to build. And it just is a vicious cycle. It doesn't really work well. The other thing you're seeing companies do is change their distributor model completely. It used to be multi-level where you'd pay if let's say a person here sold a product, that person would get paid, but then maybe 8 levels above that or whatever would get paid as well. A lot of companies are now moving to our more flat model where the person that sells gets the money and there's very little that goes above that. We call that an affiliate model. And that is the way that a lot of marketing happens in the new economy online. And a lot of these supplement companies are sort of moving to that. By the way, one of the reasons they're moving to that is not only because of the reality of where we are, but also because of a lot more federal regulation in the U.S. So for that reason alone, a lot of companies are having to adjust where they are. Now, let's talk about the future for a second, because some of you are either in network marketing, maybe struggling. Some of you are considering network marketing. Here's my thoughts on what you should do. When I look at the overall picture, and I look and see how the internet in particular has decimated the network model, and the network marketing companies have yet really to find an answer, I have a hard time myself being optimistic about network marketing. I'm just being honest. I believe that it's done a lot of good. I'm not anti-network marketing. While I'm not personally in network marketing, at least really I'm not. I've never been involved in the whole purpose or the whole strategy of recruiting people. I certainly have done a lot of things in online marketing, but not necessarily network marketing. Even so, I'm not against it. I believe that it's done a lot of good, but I'm not optimistic about the future. I think you have to be really, really careful. If you're a good retailer, if you know how to retail products, if you know how to retail online, there's some opportunities there. Even in network marketing companies, I think you're going to see more companies move away from multi-level to a more flat compensation. And if you find deals like that, I think there's a lot of value there. Find deals where you get rewarded for selling, not for recruiting, but for selling. There's some out there. I think you'll see the industry move more in that direction over the coming years. But in general, am I optimistic about what's going on? No. I wouldn't recommend that you really consider going in. If you're in, I'd be looking for other options because I just don't know that the future is that bright.